everybody. I hope all of you are keeping well. Good evening and welcome back to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. Today is 26th of May and this entire video series it's brought to you by LawSikho. So now let's head to the agenda for today. For the editorial segment, we've taken up an Indian Express article, the title of which is Why the Supreme Court Acquitted a Man on Death Row for Rape and Murder of a 6-year-old Girl. Now, I'm sure the title itself is self-sufficient in order to understand the scope of our discussion. So, the Supreme Court last week gave acquittal to a man who was a death row convict for all of these offenses. So, we are going to have an understanding of what were the factors before the apex court which led to this acquittal. Now, secondly, we talk about the important news updates of the day, and this is going to be followed by our third segment, which is the legal news update. So with this, let's dive into the TNA, and we start off with this article, the title of which is Why the Supreme Court Acquitted a Man on Death Row for Rape and Murder of a 6-year-old Girl. This is going to be our order of understanding of it. First, we start with the issue that is concerned in today's article. Then we have a look at what is the case before the Supreme Court. So for this purpose, we have a look at the factual matrix of this case, right from when the crime was committed to when it came before the Sessions Court, before the Bombay High Court, what were the pieces of evidence that the prosecution placed reliance upon. And then thirdly, we talk about what were the irregularities that the Honorable Apex Court noted. So now let's start with the why of this article. See, recently, which is in fact the very last week, the Supreme Court acquitted a man who had been a death row convict for rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl. And the Apex Court did so while underlining that there were yawning gaps in the probe. Now see, the accused or the convict Prakash Nishad, he was awarded the death sentence in the year 2014 by the Thane Sessions Court, and this was eventually confirmed by the Honorable High Court of Bombay. So he spent nearly 13 years in jail, of which around 9 they were spent on death row. Now let's understand as to what was the case before the Honorable Supreme Court. So see, the case, it goes back to 2010 when a 6-year-old girl, she went missing from her home, and later her dead body, it was found in a drain. Eventually, it came to the forefront that before being murdered, she was subjected to the brutal act of rape. And for this purpose, the very next day, the police arrested Prakash, who was essentially living in the vicinity. Now, before the Sessions Court, the Thane Sessions Court, it found him guilty of all the charges, and so did the Bombay High Court. So now, therefore, he approached the Honorable Supreme Court. As far as the evidence before the lower judiciary is concerned, so during the proceedings before the Sessions Court and the High Court, the main evidence that was relied upon by the prosecution, it was DNA reports or the DNA evidence. Apart from that, the prosecution's case, it was also majorly based on the disclosure statement that was made by the accused person, as a result of which the accused person, he led to the recovery of or discovery of incriminating articles which essentially belonged to the victim and that of his own articles, clothing articles. Also, apart from that, the prosecution argued that or placed reliance on the fact that the accused, he was found near the crime scene. And thirdly, of course, the DNA report. So the prosecution relied on the DNA report to claim that the victim's blood, it was found on Prakash's vest, and also the semen on the victim's clothes, they matched that of the convict. Now, before the Supreme Court, this is what the Supreme Court said. A bench of Justices B.R. Gavai, Justice B.R. Gavai, Vikram Nath, and Sanjay Karol, they found several irregularities and illegalities on the part of the agencies that were examining this particular case. As far as these irregularities are concerned, we're going to discuss them under three heads. First being the Supreme Court's observation with respect to the confessional statement which was made by this accused person. Secondly, we talk about the illegal searches that were conducted at his place. And thirdly, we talk about the broken chain of custody in the DNA evidence. Here we talk about the importance of circumstantial evidence and how a chain has to be formed thoroughly. So, as far as the statement of the accused is concerned, the Apex Court said that the prosecution's case was based on Prakash's confessional statement. Prakash's statement, it was recorded in Marathi without it being read or explained to him in his language, was Hindi. So for this purpose, in order to highlight the law governing this proposition, the court placed reliance on one of its earlier decisions, which was in 1953 case, the title of which is Sayyid Qasim Razvi. Here, the Supreme Court held that not understanding the court's language, it causes prejudice to the accused in his trial, and it violates the Equal Protection Clause, which is guaranteed in the Indian Constitution. The court also observed that there was no clarity was given on how the accused was identified as the culprit, because nobody had witnessed him and the victim together, or nobody had seen them at the crime scene. As far as the illegal searches, this matter is concerned, so the court noted that there was no evidence to show that the incriminating articles, which were recovered from Prakash's residence, they were owned nor exclusively possessed by him. It came to the forefront that the investigators, they later admitted that the house was occupied by two other persons as well. However, what the fallacy here is that those persons, they were not at all examined. So the court was of the opinion that how can you then say that these articles were in the exclusive ownership or possession of the accused when you've not examined the other two persons who were also there. Secondly, with respect to this particular aspect itself, the court noted that these articles, they were found in the second search. While the first search of the small room, it had revealed nothing. So the Supreme Court said on law of circumstantial evidence that it was well settled in light of the 1984 case, landmark case in fact, of Sharad Birdichand Sarda, wherein the Supreme Court had held that circumstances there should be of a definite tendency, unerringly pointing towards the guilt of the accused. And these circumstances, they should be of such a nature that they form a chain which is so complete that there is no escape from the conclusion that within all human probability, the crime, it was committed by the accused itself. So as far as the circumstantial evidence is concerned, by virtue of this landmark judgment, it has time and again been said that the circumstances should form a categoric and thorough chain of events which are so tied together that there is no lapse whatsoever in forming a chain, and all of these evidence, they throw light on one conclusion only, which is the unerring guilt of the accused. And thirdly, with respect to the third branch of the irregularity, which is broken chain of custody in DNA evidence, the court also observed that there was an unexplained delay in sending the DNA samples. This pointed to their possible contamination. And in this regard, the apex court said, and I quote, there is nothing on record to establish as to who took these samples, at what time, and on how many occasions, and why were they not sent all at once. Further, the top court said, and I quote, we noticed that none of the police officials that testified to the formalities of keeping the samples safe and secure being complied with. So with this, we proceed to the next segment for today. And now we come to the national news category, and the first update is from Arunachal. Endangered red panda spotted in Arunachal's Tawang. A little red panda, which is listed as endangered in the International Union for Conservation of Nature list of threatened species, it has been found or spotted in Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. It is the state animal of Sikkim, which also hosts a red panda festival every year. Almost 50% of red panda's habitat, it is in the eastern Himalayas. Infosys, which is a leading IT services company, it has launched Topaz, which is an AI-first set of services and solutions. It has launched Topaz, a comprehensive suite of services, solutions, and of platforms that harness the power of generative artificial intelligence technologies. Topaz, it was built on Infosys Applied AI framework. It enables the development of an AI-first core that essentially enables or enhances the capabilities of individuals and organizations to deliver cognitive solutions and to accelerate value creation. Moving on, Namdev Shirgaonkar, he is the new president of India Taekwondo. Shirgaonkar, who also holds a black belt in Taekwondo, he is the Secretary General of Maharashtra Olympic Association. He voiced his approval for being elected unopposed as the Chief of India Taekwondo. India is going to feature in the upcoming Senior World Taekwondo Championship for the year 2023, which is to be held in Baku in Azerbaijan. This is indeed an interesting update. Sengol, which is a symbol of fair governance, which can be seen right here on your screens, it is to be installed in the new Parliament House. The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, is going to receive the sacred symbol of fair and equitable governance, Sengol, and install it in the new Parliament House. This is the same Sengol that was accepted by the first Prime Minister of India, Shri Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, at his residence at the night of 14th of August in the presence of several leaders as a mode of transfer of power. The Prime Minister he took a decision to adopt the Sengol as a national symbol of the Amrit Kal. The new building of the Parliament it is going to witness the very same event with the priests repeating the ceremony and vesting the Honorable PM with the Sengol. A special website it has also been allotted or designated with the details and downloadable videos about Sengol by the Prime Minister at the event. An MOU has been signed between Goa and Uttarakhand for the purpose of promoting tourism. Both the states they will get benefit from direct flight connectivity between the states of Uttarakhand and Goa. Now with this flight time or travel time it has been reduced from 7 hours to a mere 2.5 hours. As a result of which this travel between these two states it has become much easier now. The tourism department of both the states it will also work on joint packages to promote various tourism products, including adventure tourism activities, e-tourism, ecotourism, and spiritual tourism, along with wellness tourism. And this has brought us to the international segment for today, with the first update being a historic one. Indian origin Sikh, he has become the first turban-wearing Lord Mayor of UK city. Jaswant Singh Bedi, originally from Punjab, India, he has made history by becoming the very first Sikh councillor to hold the prestigious position of Lord Mayor of Coventry. In a special ceremony that was held in Coventry Cathedral, Jaswant Singh he was formally presented with the chains of office, which are traditional worn by the mayor and symbolize the authority and the responsibility which comes with this position. This, in fact, is an important update when it comes to your exam perspective. So, Georgi Gospodinov, she has won the International Booker Prize for the year 2023 for the book titled Time Shelter. The novel, which is titled as Time Shelter, it is translated by Angela Rodel. It has secured the prestigious 2023 International Booker Prize. This remarkable achievement, it marks the very first time that a Bulgarian novel it has been awarded this renowned literary honor. At the heart of this novel lies the concept of a clinic for the past, which is essentially for the treatment of Alzheimer's sufferers seeking solace in recaptured memories. And with this, we proceed to the very last segment for today, where we talk about important legal developments of the day. The first update comes from the Honorable Apex Court. So, the Supreme Court has reiterated that a proposed accused has the right to be heard in revisional proceedings under Section 401 of the CrPC. The court decided to set aside an order whereby dismissal of Section 156 subsection 3 application it was reversed by the High Court and a condition for registration of FIR against the accused it was given without the notice being issued to the accused. The name of this particular case is Santa Kumari and others versus the state of Tamil Nadu and another. The next update it comes from the Honorable High Court of Orissa. So the Orissa High Court has clarified that Muslims cannot seek adoption of minor children under their personal laws and they must strictly follow the prescriptions which are laid down under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2015 to undertake any such adoption. The name of this particular case is Nisar Ahmed Khan versus the state of Orissa and others. And with this, we've come to an end to the TNA for today. In case you want to get access to the free study materials and the TNA slides that were used in this particular video, I would highly encourage all of you to join our Telegram channel. And for the very purpose, you may scan the barcode here or you may click on the link which is provided in the description. These are the point of contacts that for using which you may get in touch with LawSikho. Thank you for being with us. Please take care.